Welcome to our LMS walkthrough. We can clone our LMS to fit any business brand and customize it to each client's needs. I'll show you 3 options we've built, then how it looks once a student is logged in with course access. This is an example of Simgenix's company LMS, a clone of the master LMS. The user lands here, where we can modify the LMS's look and feel. We can add a logo and introduction banner, or keep it much simpler. A student can log in with an employee number, student number, username or email, and can also reset their password. We can also include basic FAQs. These make logging in easier, especially the first time or if they have login issues. Then, in the corner at the bottom, we can add a support WhatsApp module. If a student has issues, they can chat with support personnel via WhatsApp. Scrolling down, there's also a form they can fill in with their name, contact number, email address, and employee number. We can modify this form in any way, ask what the problem is, and they send it in. Another option is to add a button to an incident support logging system. We can replace the WhatsApp chat with it, or use both. With this system, the student receives a support reference number and can follow up on their call's progress. This shows how the LMS looks in its clone form when customized for a third-party company. Let me show you another one. This was for Quest College, the same layout as Simgenix. We can adjust the banner sizes to make them smaller, or remove them for a lighter version. Again, we've got our member login. In this version, there's no support form on the homepage. In this alternate version, it again includes the FAQs and support form, plus the student login. The banner is lighter and smaller. We can brand it to look nice and fit the client's brand. Here we've got our POPI policy and any other legal pages we need, and we can add more. We've got reCAPTCHA running for a safe form, and our WhatsApp chat button here again. As mentioned, we can place the incident support button, if this function is chosen, anywhere so students can log a call if they need assistance. In the case of a support SLA option, we will need to discuss it further. Let me show you another LMS example. Again, we have our branded hero section banner, and it's fully responsive like everything else on the LMS. I'll show you on the phone screen in a bit. Here's the FNB example on a mobile phone. Again, we've got just a banner to make it look branded. We can modify everything here. At the moment, the mobile menu just has a home and a login, but we can add any other pages or links here. While we're on the mobile view of the LMS, let me show you a few other features. I've got a student logged in, and you can see we've got our logout button here, and the student's dashboard, and also their results. We can show student results in a page. If I click here, we can see we've got our normal mobile menu. It shows the student is currently logged in, and they can just click there and log out. The FAQs will respond to the screen size as well as the support form. Let's go to the student's dashboard where we will find the courses they are enrolled into. This is the mobile view of the student dashboard. John Doe is currently logged in, and we can see he's got access to one course. If you had access to many more courses, the courses will be listed here. We can click Expand to see the progress of the course. John Doe hasn't done much at the moment in time. If we click on the course, it's going to give us the detailed information about this course. We can see we are on 0% complete. This is just the introduction image and some introduction information for the student, company information, and then we've got our course content below. This course is specifically based on company induction training for students. Here we will see is our first session. This screen is called the Focus Mode dashboard. All the course content and instructions on how to do the course is here. I'm going to show you 2 course session versions. Both are laid out in 2 different ways. I prefer the topic version. This is the normal version. The students can access the content in freeform mode, unless the course is set for it. The student takes on the first section, and they will need to go and complete the first section before they can go to the second section by either passing the course quiz and marking it as complete. You can see here we're inside of the course on section 1. If we click here, we've got our menu. It shows us all the other sections or lessons that will follow. You can see that this one, the topic version, has 7 topics and a quiz to complete. The other lessons only have course material and quizzes connected to them. When students mark sessions or lessons as complete, they will be able to go back to the previous lessons to check the content of the previous sections again. But at the moment, John won't be able to go forward to the next lesson if he has not passed the previous section or lessons. Course content can consist of text, images, video, audio, embedded PDF, or downloadable files. We can even add FAQs inside of the course to style content better, and we can add a lot of different web elements. Here is a video example. On a real cell phone, it will open in the full screen mode. Here you can see we can embed a PDFs as flipbooks or standard view. I'm going to show you how it would look on the desktop as well. We can remove certain buttons at the bottom, in other words remove the download button. We can zoom. On this version it won't be a flipbook, but it will be a standard scroll. You can zoom here as well. It has a download button that can be hidden. Here we embedded an audio clip. Next will be the quiz. The quiz module will mark the student's input automatically and only pass them if all conditions are met. If John don't pass it, then he won't be allowed to go to the next section. Let me show you that. If I click here and I want to go to the next section and I haven't passed the quiz, it will actually block me. You can see the mobile responsiveness on the phone. It's easy to navigate. So, let me show you the next lesson, the section with the topics. I'm going to log in as myself. As an admin, it will grant me access to browse the course content in free form. With the topical navigation, the lesson content is divided the topics instead of one long section or lesson. I'm logged in on the desktop view. I have my menu here, my results, and as well as my course dashboard. I've got access to this one course. I can click on the course and I can view the introduction part of the course. Let's go to this first section. The students won't see the desktop black menu bars above. We see it because I'm the admin. I just want to show you the difference between the long format lesson and the one with topics. Personally, I prefer the topical format, but it depends on the content of the lesson and if you want detailed steps to measure course progress. With the first version, the long form format, you'll see we've got our image here. We've got our text, we've got another image, we've got our FAQs, and we've got some steps they need to follow, as well as a PDF they need to download. Here we've got our video. So because I'm an admin, I can bypass the session or lesson because I have free roam in the course content. This is the section I want to show you, if I click on the topic version. This is a better option, especially with longer course and lesson content with lots of steps to complete. The main reason why I would add steps is because after every step the student takes, they have to mark the step as complete. Let's just go to the onboarding step. On our example, the onboarding is a form the student will need to fill out before they can start doing the actual course lessons. We can force the student to complete this step. Because I am logged in at the moment, it autofills my details. You can add any type of input in the form: ID number, employee number, position, gender, address, and any type of fill-in or even file upload tasks. We can also add the signature option. You can make a signature with your mouse if you don't have a touch screen. When submitting the form, the info will go to the CRM in the back end if you have this option. These smart forms are very nice to have because you can grab all kinds of interesting information and store it. You can also tag form inputs and use it for remarketing or big data for your company. The next time when you maybe send out a newsletter, course correspondence, or a company mailer, you can only send that specific mailer to a student that is tagged in a certain way. Let's say a student has filled out a feedback form somewhere inside the course, and they have chosen a certain answer that may be concerning to management. The CRM can tag their user profile with the specific tag and action can be taken to address the issue. Our original lesson is now broken up into smaller pieces, step A, step B, and so on. The students need to click Mark Complete before they can go to step B. What will happen in the back end of the LMS is that we'll be able to see the student's progress in the stats report. For example, we'll be able to see if the student has viewed the video or not. So by creating smaller steps inside a lesson, we're actually breaking up the content, mainly for measurement, but it will also boost user engagement. In our example, step C is the video. With the previous long-form layout version, we won't know for definite if the student watched the video. With topics, we can track them. Here is the PDF that was moved into an extra step. You can also refer to it as a task. And we've got our step E, which is the audio they must listen to. And then after the step E, they've got the employee induction quiz. They will be forced to go and do the quiz before going to the next task. I don't have to click complete because I'm an admin, but a student will need to do it. We can also see now that our percentage for completion is going up. You can see I've only completed 2 out of 16 steps throughout the whole course. And that's why I recommend breaking content down in this manner. But like I mentioned before, it depends on how short the content is as well. If the whole lesson is only a video, it's fine to use the long-form format. Let me complete the quiz. I don't even know what the answer is, so I am just guessing. Let's have LMS check my answers and give me a score. I've only got 71%. So, now I have to restart the quiz because I think 80% on this quiz is pass rate in this course. And you can set the pass rate to 100% or whatever you need. You don't have to have a pass percentage. Students can pass even if they have 0% if the LMS is set up this way. It also records the time. This is good, as can now see how long the person took to do the quiz. Next step before we go to section or lesson 2 is a feedback form. And like I mentioned, the student won't be able to go to this if they haven't passed the quiz. Feedback forms are a very important tool if used correctly. Again, it autofills my information. Using Likert scales makes feedback and input forms interesting. I want to go to this topical layout on a cell phone just to show you how it looks and responds. Here we have our onboarding form. Next topic. The content is nice and big. Here is the video. Here is the PDF. And here's the audio. I want to show some access features in the back end. I'm currently logged in. You can see I'm full administrator. I've got access to all the systems on the LMS and website. But if I log in, let's say I am a user that's just builds and maintains the courses. If logged in, this user will only have this limited menu. We can limit and customize their access in multiple ways. For example, they can just edit courses, add sections and topics, create quizzes and questions, and also create or manage certificates. In this example, they also just have access to the CRM and the smart forms. They also have access to the multimedia to upload media elements. And lastly, manage users. But let's say we need somebody just to create users. Then we can remove all of this access and customize the backend just for this. This gives the LMS capabilities to manage certain data and control access to information. Now you will see this user just has access to manage, add and create new users on the eLMS. Another powerful feature is that we can build custom user profiles. In other words, we can add any input field to a user's user profile. In other words, let's say I want to add a student number or ID number. To add the ID number input field, we chose add a number field, add a description like your SA ID number, and we can make it a required field. In other words, students can't use the system if they haven't filled this in yet. Lastly, let's have a look at some of the stats we can pull. Because this is a demo, I don't have lots of student stats to show you, but I can go and select learner-specific reports. I can go and select myself as a learner. You can see the time I've spent on the course. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes, and you can see I have access to only one course. I haven't completed the course. You can see I'm still in progress, and I'm sitting at 12.5% completion rate. All of this information can be downloaded or exported as CSV. Same here with the course completion rates. You can also see the quiz attempts. And here are more details of my learner activity log. So in other words, you can see exactly how my progress has been. And again, here we can download the information as a CSV or Excel file.